Out of ice cream? Forgot the diapers? Don't feel like going to the store? Am I right? Skip the trip with Amazon Prime Now. Prime Now is the super fast delivery service available exclusively for Amazon Prime members. Download the Prime Now app on your smartphone and get access to thousands of products available for delivery right to your door. Choose from free 2-hour delivery and 1-hour delivery for $7.99 in select areas. That's hours, not days. If you need it, get it without leaving the house. Get the app at primenow.com and start shopping fast.
Blog Talk Radio.
Live from Fort Bragg's backyard, this is the show that put the 110 Nation on the map. There is only one nation, the 110 Nation, and you're listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show, covering each and every sport across the board. There is no sport too large or too little. It's time to talk the talk. Here we go. Here's the man, the founder, and your host, Mr. CJ Sports.
I got that magic in me. Magic, magic, magic. Ow! I tell you what, I don't care how many times I say it, that intro never gets old. I love hearing the man, the host, Mr. CJ Sports. Welcome to another day. I know, I keep saying that. I think once a week I mention that. I really love the job they did on that. But, oh. I was told in the studio that's the only person that I, well, not the only person, but was just another person, I guess, that lies to me saying I'm the man. I got a few people that tell me I'm funny. I know they're lying to me. Yeah. But funny looking. You're right. I want to welcome everybody to the 110 Nation Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. CJ Sports. You can follow me at CJ Sports 1. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Check us out on Facebook, my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sports. Also, check out us on check out our blog site, www.the110nationsports.com. Check out our company site, the110nation.com for all the latest going on here at the 110 Nation. Well, the daggone studio. I don't know, sometimes it just acts retarded. I know there wasn't a politically correct way to say that. I'm sorry people get too good. I know it's not the proper way, and it's not nice to say, but it's not like I mean it that way. And we made it through the 70s, 80s, and 90s saying that, and the world didn't come to an end, so I'm sorry. But it ain't going to come to an end all of a sudden now. Not over one word, anyway. 5 years. Here we are, day 3 of our birthday week. Tell you what, it's been a fun week. Max Pappas on day 1. Kayla Lyons and Izzo on day 2. Day 3, we got Jay Havens and Mason Mitchell joining us. And probably have Shorty join us at some point on the show as well tonight. So I tell you what, it don't really, honestly, don't get no better than this. A bunch of returning guests, a bunch of nice stars making a return to the show. Very, very, very happy. It's been a fun week so far, and looking forward to another fun show. We've not had the opportunity to talk to Jay Havens in a hot minute now, so very very excited about having him back on the show. I get the privilege and honor to have some conversations, some personal, some sports, some professional with Jay. So I'm glad to get him back on the show. Was it one of our first guest per se, but he was towards the beginning of the line of guests that started coming on the 110 Nation Sports Show, and has made quite frequent stops here at the 110 Nation. And we're going to let him give him opportunity to kind of tell his story tonight and give us an update on what's going on with the Jay Havens racing team. And looking forward to that. Then we got Mason Mitchell. We've had him on probably about 4 or 5 times. Young ARCA Series driver/owner. I believe they're the youngest ARCA Series owner. And I know last year it was the youngest owner/driver combination with Austin Wayne Self being on the team. We've had many of the drivers. I think we've had all but one of the last 2 years come on the show. Just great to have these guys, and more specifically Mason Mitchell. He's an inspiring story, like 21 years old, and to accomplish the things that he has accomplished, and probably one of the hardest sports to accomplish it. And I know people out there, you're racing. No, it's not that. Yeah, what people don't understand, there's a significant difference when we talk about ball and stick sports, that you can go sign up or go play and you maybe pay $20 administration fee and everything else is taken care of you, versus being a race car driver where you got to provide your own vehicle, you got to have your own gas, you got to have your own all that kind of stuff, all the way up through the ranks, and it only gets more and more expensive as the years go by, and the farther and farther you go up the ranks. So to see what Mason Mitchell has accomplished at the right young age of 41 years old is really just an inspiring story. And I'm nowhere close to being the young chicken that Mason Mitchell is, but at the same time, it's inspiring to know that hard work, dedication, loyalty, and everything else that goes along with him having the successful operation that he has, that if we do the same thing here at the 110 Nation, that good things could happen for us, and we can continue to work our way up the charts and become a powerhouse team as well. So looking forward to having him on the show as well. We got the excuse me. Oh wow, we got to hook things up. I'm trying to get the studio to pop up, so I have the studio, and for some reason it just always likes to be difficult with me when I have because I have one of these little Nextbooks, whatever, the tablet/laptop, and it always does not want to cooperate when I just have it as a tablet. So I'm going to try to get this. So I can get the studio open. I ain't got the studio open yet. So let's get this taken care of, just so we are ready when our guests make their way to the show. But Gold State's opportunity to put themselves in the record book with the opportunity to go 73-9. Nah, not yet. It ain't happened yet. But got in this conversation earlier today, and I honestly feel that there is really a good chance that they're going to accomplish their goal. They are going to beat Memphis. That's not really something I'm questioning at this point. I'm still at the point that I'm questioning whether or not they were truly focused on the big picture. Were they really focused, and is the concern is the I don't know, the goal of this year, was it to be the best single season team in the history of the NBA, or was it to be repeat champions and go back to back NBA final champions? That's my big concern when it comes to Golden State Warriors. I got an opportunity a few times today to have this conversation and talk about it. And one, I'm not even all sold in that the Golden State Warriors can beat San Antonio. As the year has gone on, San Antonio has played consistently the same. I mean, they've lost, 13, 14 games. And people act like, oh, Golden State got this under wraps. They're going 73-9. Y'all do realize that the San Antonio Spurs have not really lost that many less games than the Golden State Warriors. Everybody talks about the San Antonio Spurs like they lost 20 games and, was in the cusp of being a third seed team or a fourth seed team or barely making the playoffs. Any other year, their record would have made them a number one seed. And here we are, and of course they're going to get the number 2 seed, and everything's going to have to travel through Golden State to get to the NBA Finals in the Western Conference side of the house. And through the whole NBA, the rest of the playoffs has got to go through Golden State's house anyway. The Oracle Arena, the Oracle Center, whatever it is. So either way, it's all got to go through there. But San Antonio has not been some splash team that everybody. To me, all this does for the San Antonio Spurs is kind of put a chip on the shoulder. You gotta look at it from San Antonio's point of view. Are you all serious? Like, you guys are all in and already proclaiming it's going to be a Golden State Cleveland NBA Finals and Golden State's going to win it. And I mean, even Cleveland should have a kind of a chip on their shoulder as well. But more specifically, San Antonio, they're kind of being left out of the whole conversation when it comes to the playoffs. They're kind of dissed out of there, and it makes no sense to me because this San Antonio team is very deep, very consistent. You got to figure this team, 60. They've lost 15 games, six more than the Golden State Warriors, which is 12 games better than the next team even in the Western Conference. Now, Cleveland's your next best, Cleveland's the next best with nine behind San Antonio. But people just kind of dismiss the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, let's think about it. They were only 5 games off from the record themselves at this point.
They were really trying.
And honestly, if San Antonio wasn't one of those teams that went ahead and rested their players and preserved themselves, the record probably would have been even better. But Popovich likes to rest his team and maximize the shelf life of Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and is hoping to be able to preserve Kawhi Leonard, DeMarcus Aldridge, Danny Green, and so forth and so forth. And it just, I don't know. I just look at it. If I'm San Antonio, I go into the playoffs. I'm ready to lose 52-35 or 34 tonight, 18 points back to the Dallas Mavericks. But obviously, San Antonio has nothing to gain right now. I guarantee if I probably more than likely if I pulled up the roster and see who was playing. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do right this second. I guarantee we're probably not going to see a lot of minutes played by the big guys. Because right now, there's really no point. They can't catch first. They're not going to lose second. So really, what's the point of playing all your players? Of course, Ginobili's out, Duncan's out, Tony Parker's not playing any time, Leonard's not playing any time, LaMarcus Aldridge ain't played any time, David West ain't played no time. So I mean, you got your leading Minutemans. You got Maragin, Novick, Bonner, Anderson, Kevin Martin, Jonathan Simmons. I mean, that's who's playing tonight. And, rightfully so. That's the big difference right now. When we talk about the Golden State Warriors, we talk about the San Antonio Spurs. Golden State is all in tonight. Once again, Golden State is going to exert all their energy and effort so they can get the single-season record. While we look at this roster and we look at the entire starting lineup to include players on the bench that are not even playing tonight for San Antonio. Big picture. And obviously that's, a lot to do with why they're down by 18 points tonight. And like I said, if this was any other team, then yes, they might have been trying to concern unless they were in the same position San Antonio was, and really they can't gain anything or lose anything by losing or winning tonight. So it really does not make a difference. But it kills me because there's just so little respect, in my opinion, when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, come on, 5 games off from the record, and they've been taking some time off lately because they've already been kind of secured there. It's been for a while that there was no way Oklahoma was going to catch, and no, they were not going to catch Golden State. And, you know, I got into this debate with a really good friend of mine. In fact, my best friend, talking about this is killing the game, that fans do not pay to go watch the second and third string. And I was like, hold on a second. I am a Cleveland Cavalier fan. Honestly, I would not have a problem, especially the first time around, if they could have done things differently, that LeBron James did not have to carry all the scrubs that was on that team, even when they made the championship or the run to the NBA Finals, even though they got swept by San Antonio 4-0. He carried a bunch of scrubs, a bunch of nobodies. I don't think anybody plays in the league anymore that was on that team. I wish that there could have been a way to preserve LeBron James, especially now that he is back, and now that you see the back spasms and everything else that we've seen now LeBron, especially the last 3 or 4 years. I like the fact that they are trying to do their best to preserve LeBron James now, to extend his shelf life, to extend the freshness of this team going into the playoffs. I'm a fan. If I went to the Quicken Loans Arena, I don't care if I paid $50 for a ticket, if I went as the media and did pay nothing and went to work, or if I paid $500 to have, or whatever, $1,000, $2,000, whatever it costs, I don't even know how much it costs, for a courtside ticket. If it's in the best interest of my Cleveland Cavaliers, if it is in the best interest of LeBron James and the shelf life that he is going to have playing. I mean, look at Tim Duncan. He's been in the league for 6,000 years. Still plays with the same consistency. Yes, his numbers are not as good as they once was, but it's not been a big fall off. And even with the lack of play time, it's not been a big fall off. If I had an opportunity to go to the game, and yes, it was for the better of the Cleveland Cavaliers, if it was better for the shelf life of LeBron James, no, I would not have a problem. Yes, I'm going to see LeBron James. And yes, part of me is like, you know what? God, I wish that LeBron James was going to play. But at the same time, if I know that this is for the better of the team to win a championship, if I know that this is better for the shelf life of LeBron James, then I would not have a problem with it. And we got into this big debate. Well, this is not what the fans come, and they pay all this money. It's just ruining the game, this, that, and the other. You can look at it how you want to look at it. I'm in it for the long run here. I don't want my star players to be the workhorse. And we quickly shifted over. We talked about it. We quickly shifted over to talk about Kevin Durant and Westbrook. 2 prime examples. Ain't neither one of them able to consistently stay healthy because there's such a workload. On these 2 players. And by the time that you get to the end of the season, by the time that the playoffs roll around, these guys are so slam wore out and trying to recover from injuries and everything else. OKC never has really a legitimate shot to win a championship. I mean, they've not had a legitimate shot since they had James Harden, and that roster was much deeper. I was going to turn it down if it was me. I'm not sure. So I know there's fans out there that they have an issue with the style of play, but I am not one of those I'm not one of those that have an issue with it. Even if I was to go to the game, I want to. I want the life that I want the shelf life of my superstars. That Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving. I mean, look at all the injuries Kyrie Irving's had. Look, Kevin Love, both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were not there for the NBA Finals last year or the complete NBA Finals last year. I want my coaching staff, my front office to make sure that they do what they got to do to secure championships, preserve life, and that's to rest players throughout the game and use them more wisely instead of like workhorses. Then I do not have a problem. And I thought it was a rather intriguing and interesting conversation because, well, as I say, because we had two different point of views, but I think almost everything when we talk about sports, I think me and my best friend have about every possible opposite point of view when it comes to that. So I guess it was really not a big surprise that we had different point of views when it came to that as well. Oh, goodness. There we go. Golden State kicks off tonight, 10:30. Opportunity to make history. Of course, all eyes will be on Golden State tonight to see if it happens. I honestly think that I think if I woke up in the morning and saw that Golden State lost, honestly, I think I would be shocked at this point, to be honest. San Antonio closing a little bit, only a 12-point game instead of almost a 20-point game at this point, 54-42 in the third. Other games going on tonight, Miami and Boston. Obviously, Boston is pretty secure with where they're at. Obviously, there's going to be no advancements up and down because they are they're getting their butts handed to them right now against Miami. And obviously, it's another one of those games that is a meaningless game because you're losing by almost 30 points at half at home. I just I don't see it being one of those games that is. Yeah, they play their starters. They're just sucking tonight. Only shooting 15 of 45 from the field, 33%, only 1 for 4 downtown. The only thing they're actually doing any good right now is from the free throw line. They're 77%. They're just honestly getting their butts handed to them, and that's without Chris Bosh. That is without Haslam, Stoudemire, really anybody out there. Wayne, of course, Dwayne Wade is playing tonight. You got Dang, Johnson, Westside, Dre, Dragic, and Wade, and Winslow. But yes, Boston. What's the deal? Chicago at home losing to Philly right now, 60-58 in the third. Detroit and Cleveland. Detroit's up 65-57. Cleveland's another one of those teams that they done clinched first in the East. So that's another one of those games that are really going to be meaningless as LeBron, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, Shumpert, Williams, none of them seen any time tonight. Tristan Thompson's been in for a total of 4 seconds. Just really playing the backups and those that I don't know, keep it fresh. I don't know. They got Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson, Dellavedova, Jordan McRae, Dante Jones, Timothy Moscow playing. James Jones got a little bit of time tonight, but Cleveland obviously they're going to probably be just chillaxing the rest of this season and rightfully so. Maybe with tonight's game last night, but rightfully so is they really have no reason to be trying. Houston up 20 points on Sacramento right now in the third. Milwaukee at home against Indiana. Indiana is up by 8 in the third, 68-56. New Orleans and Minnesota. Minnesota's up by almost 30 points on New Orleans, 83-52 in the third. About 8 minutes left. Brooklyn at home against Toronto. Toronto's up 56-49. About 10 minutes left in the third. At the half, Atlanta and Washington. Atlanta's up 7 in Washington. Orlando and Charlotte. Charlotte at home up 75-67 with about 5 minutes left in the third. And like I said, later tonight, we got Memphis and Golden State at 10:30, Utah and the Lakers at 10:30, Phoenix and the Clippers at 10:30, and Denver and Portland all coming at you at 10:30 tonight. There's a lot of great action tonight in the NBA, outside of the fact that we got a lot of players that are not going to be playing. And I'm sorry, but my best friend has got to be really upset tonight. This has really got to be driving him nuts. If he's a fan of any, I'm not sure what team he's even a fan of. I think OKC. But this has got to be really driving him insane. Maybe it's not because OKC's not playing, because there's a lot of players resting tonight, getting ready for the playoffs. So wait to see how all the games finish out tonight. See how everybody gets seated for Sunday's kickoff of the NBA playoff. Things just getting hectic and crazy. You got the NHL side of the house. They kick off their playoffs tonight. Right now, we got Detroit on top of Tampa Bay. Wait, backtrack a second. Tampa Bay is on top of Detroit. They are in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's up 3-2 with about 13 minutes left in the third. Pittsburgh at home over the Rangers, 1-0 in the second with about 14 left. And here in about 2 minutes, they're going to be kicking off in St. Louis as Chicago comes into St. Louis to get our third game started here in the NHL Stanley Cup finals there, or playoff. We got Jay Havens joining us here in about 3 minutes. So looking forward to having him on the show. And if I believe I saw this message right, Jay is not going to be alone on the show tonight. It looks like he's going to have some company with him. So looking forward to not only talking to Jay, but his dad and welder mechanic, Cameron, as well. So very, very excited about having Jay. I think it's been a hot minute. That 00 Haven Chevrolet, I tell you what, I don't think that I know a greater group of people. Like, it's breathtaking to have such great people that you get to have conversations with, if it be professional, if it be sports, if it be personal. And, Jay, like I said, was one of, I'm not sure exactly how close up to the front of being one of our, being our first guest. Jay was towards the front of the line when this league kind of took over, and we got an opportunity to have him on multiple times. Like I said, we helped sponsor the 00 machine, was part of that for a minute, and we're in talks of trying to get some other stuff going with them. But just to be able to watch him grow and watch the family grow, and then bring a child into the world, and the life take the route that it took with Jay. And I'm gonna let him kind of go into that a little bit for those that don't know the story, and to watch him be able to adapt and overcome. Some things are what they are. If it be personal, if it be physically, if it be professionally, whatever the case is, some things you just can't. You leave it in God's hand, and that's all you can do. And that's kind of what ended up happening to Jay. He kind of had to, leave everything into God's hand in the route that he needed to go. And I'm not going to say necessarily a career change, but the change within inside his career to be able to still be involved and do what he loves to do, but do it from a different point of view. And not only did Jay do it, he didn't get discouraged. As aggravating and discouraging as it had to be to kind of have your dream kind of pulled from underneath you, and how easy it could be to lash out, as you got a lot of people out there that, got this, or, that person that. That's not the route that he took. He embraced the opportunity that he still gets to have, and makes the most of it. He still gets to do what he loves to do, just a different spot of doing it. And, if you've ever, had an opportunity, and for those listening to the show that are friends with Jay, he's very inspiring and stuff he leaves on Facebook, and he's not go negative, and he tries to be uplifting and look at the better things of the best the best of the situation, and it's one of those things that it's some of those days that you're down and out, and I hate talking about scrolling Facebook. It's like, and everybody hates Facebook. It's funny because everybody hates Facebook, but nobody can stay off Facebook. And you have those days that I'm just like, what else can stack on top of me? Can it really get any worse? And then you come across something that he has posted, and it's like, you know what? He's right. Like it's almost like sometimes it's almost like you're sitting in a service and you're just like the preacher just preaching to you, and sometimes it's just kind of like the message he sends. At times it's just like that fits perfect to the situation, and it fits perfect to what's going on in my life, and very, very excited to not only have him as a guest and a returning guest, but to have him as a friend and somebody I get an opportunity to talk to and be able to get advice at times and help be a part of what's going on there, and just different things. And I don't want to keep rambling on, especially since we got him in the studio now, and he didn't come in the studio to listen to me talk about him. He came into the studio to listen to me talk to him and us have an actual conversation. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and get Jay on the show. How are you doing tonight, Jay?
Hey, how's it going tonight?
Oh, it is going great. Great week for us. Celebrating 5 years, and when Miss Lee passed the name on, I couldn't have thought of a better name to have during this week come on the show. Someone that has been on the show multiple times, has kind of been around towards the beginning of when we really took things off with the 110 Nation Sports Show. So I was very, very excited to know that you were going to be part of this week and be on the show this week. So very excited about that. As you know, like we always like to do before we get things kicked off, I want to give you an opportunity to plug yourself social media-wise, to be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever the case may be. Team site, personal site, sponsorships, anything you want to throw out there real quick. That way the fans, the listeners, they get to know you professionally, personally, and have an opportunity to keep up with you throughout the 2016 season and continue moving forward.
Well, of course, you can always follow me on Twitter at Jay Havens. I've got the Instagram, Jay Havens Racing. Now, I've also got the Jay Havens Racing Facebook page, along with my personal profile itself. It's just Jay Havens. And anybody listening tonight, they're more than welcome to follow me on any of those. I've got pictures of race cars, my team, my family, stuff at the track, and definitely got to give a huge shout out to Southern States for coming back on board with us for 2016, and Accelerated Graphics too for hooking us up on our brand new vinyl wrap that we're installing tonight. It's all coming together pretty quick, and hopefully we'll be able to debut this new rocket of ours this weekend, hopefully.
Oh, what has been up? It's been a minute.
Well, after the 2015 season, we all sat down as a team, and we decided, we're gonna make a few changes this year as far as where we're going to go, what we're going to do, and we actually have decided to get off of the asphalt for this year, and we're going back where Havens Racing began, on the dirt. So we're pretty excited to have Steve Brody coming back as our driver this year, and hopefully he'll take this 00 Southern States Cadillac to the front this year and see how many wins we can hopefully wrap up at Friendship Speedway in Elkin, North Carolina, and also at Rolling Thunder Raceway in Ararat, Virginia.
How big of adjustment or how much work is involved with changing your whole team's program from asphalt to dirt?
Well, luckily enough, this over this off season, it was pretty easy to do. We've actually still got the same car that we ran last year, and me and my dad who's also on here tonight with me as well. I've got my dad, Mike, on the line here with me, and one of my lead mechanics here, Cameron Strickland. I've got the whole gang here, and we've been chomping at the bit trying to get this thing ready. But, when we sat down over the off season, we looked at, of course, our budget and whatnot that we thought we could do for 2016, and we originally were planning on running the late model Charger division at Caraway Speedway in North Carolina, but we just kind of had a change of heart. We wanted to go back to our roots and come together as a team and just find something to do that could be a little bit more fun and a little less stress the budget and how much stuff that we have to keep up with and how much we have to prepare. And, we just felt like with this dirt deal, Steve Brody, he's been running dirt for 20-some years, and he decided to take the jump with us last year and switch over to asphalt and done a phenomenal job. I was very, very pleased with how he done. And me and him sat down over the off season and was like, man, we got to do something to have a little bit more fun. Because last year at the track, it was a whole lot of stress, and when it starts to lose the fun, that's when you got to back off for a little bit and regroup. And when we decided to go back dirt, we all came together as a team and sat down and we were like, look, this is what we're planning on doing. Who's with us, who's out, and everybody stayed true to us, and we're coming back with the same people, same drive, same momentum, just with a bigger heart and the same expectations of go to the front and dominate as much as we can.
Now, I got a question for Mike. You said that's your guys' mechanic, right?
No, that's my dad. He helps co-own and helps keep the car up, and we're actually sitting in the shop tonight.
I'm sorry, Cameron, right?
Yeah, Cameron. He's my lead welder and my lead mechanic here, and he's been my best friend for 20-some years as well. So when me and him sat down and decided we were going to do this dirt thing, he was probably more excited than anybody.
How as a mechanic, and I've been around dirt track racing, but my father was part of an asphalt racing team back in the day, and so I'm visualizing a lot of difference when it comes to two cars, mainly because not only setups, but I just see a lot of dirt. And as being a mechanic, and I was in the military, that's what I did. I was a 63 whiskey. I worked third shop. I changed motors out of Humvees, fuel injection pumps, rear main seal, all that kind of stuff. And I know what it was like being down here in North Carolina and getting all that sand and dirt mixed up with the oil, and just how much of a mess it could be underneath the Humvee. So being a race car, I can only imagine what the mess looks like underneath the hood when it comes to a dirt track car. How as a mechanic, do you prefer the asphalt or the dirt track when it comes to working on these cars? And is there a big difference on the mechanic side of it?
Well, there is a huge difference. I mean, it's night and day. You kind of hit it spot on with the setup as far as asphalt versus dirt. My aspect of it, I love dirt. I was also in the military. Thank you for your service as well. And I don't mind getting dirty. I'm a welder by day, in the shop by night. So, I mean, the dirt part, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, if I got to get dirty to get out there and get everything clean, prepared, and ready to go for the next go-round, I'll do it 5-6 times a week if I have to. I don't know. I know everybody loves to get out there and get dirty. I don't mind doing it either. It's just the aggravation of. I'm assuming it's so much easier to pop a hood on a car that's on the asphalt, and you don't have all that stuff to dig around, pressure wash, to get all that stuff out of the way to get to the problem. And I would assume at times the dirt and everything that builds up underneath because of the dirt track racing might mask some of the leaks or issues that you might have that you might not catch. It's kind of, what I'm visualizing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just at times, does it make it a little bit more difficult because of everything that's involved with the dirt track racing? Oh, it definitely does. But like I said, with the whole maintenance, maintaining it, keeping it clean, we catch those leaks if there ever are any in time to be able to fix the problem, patch it up, and get it ready to go back out next weekend.
Now, Jay, I've gotten to see a lot of pictures of your son sitting in the car. How close are we getting to see? How close are we getting to see the future of Hagen's Racing?
Well, if everything goes as planned, he'll turn 3 in December, and we're planning on starting him off in go-karts or something to that effect, probably about the time he turns 5.
Gotcha.
I was talking to my wife, and I was like, well, we could start him out at 4, but I'm looking at it as more of at what age would he be mentally ready to do this, as far as me being the racing dad that I am, and just saying, all right, you're fine, man, just go. I'm looking at it as, okay, if I was to tell him, all right, if you need to change your line here, is he going to mentally be able to do it at 4 years old, or would he be mentally able to do it at 5 years old? So I'm figuring on within the next year or two, I'm probably going to build him a little yard cart and let him try it out in the yard and see how that goes first. And then if he listens to me, then we'll go ahead and dive into the go-kart deal, which I've never done myself, but I know my dad has, and I feel like we should be able to go forward with the future, especially with Austin. I know that when he's in the shop, he is bouncing off the walls with excitement. Just like tonight, him and my wife came by for a little bit and hung out. And we fired up the new car and was just testing a few things with it. And, man, he had the biggest smile on his face and was like, go, Daddy, go, go. So it's definitely something I'm excited about.
Was it hard at all to convince the wife to let you allow him to get involved with racing? I know it's in the blood, and I know that it runs deep in your family, but I also, I know mothers, all that one, but not all of them are as easy to convince or are so willing to let, the thought of their baby being out there doing something that is, kind of dangerous.
I know that she's still very, very nervous about the whole situation. And, I mean, any parent would be, whether it's mother, father, whatever. I know that when I first told my mom that I was ready to go racing, she was beside herself, nervous, scared, has all these emotions built up. But my wife also knows that the one thing that we pride ourselves in here is safety. So I'm not going to put my son in any kind of danger if I can help it. I mean, I know things happen on the track. I mean, just like with myself, but I'm still trying to prove to her that it'll be safe enough for her baby. So I'm definitely still working on her, and she's so close to being ready to say, okay, go ahead and do it, that it's not even funny, but I've still got to have that extra little kick to get her ready for it.
Mike, I have a question for you as well. What's it like for you, not only being a proud father of a son that's a race car driver and is now a team owner, but knowing that you're about to see your grandson out there as well? I mean, I can only imagine not only seeing your son, but seeing it continue and just be, continue to be the family tradition that has been for so long.
Well, it's definitely something that I can't wait to see. I mean, Austin, he'll be our fourth generation racing. My dad raced, then me, Jay, and now Austin will be doing it before long. It's a very prideful thing.
I can only imagine. Not only be able to see it continue on, but just knowing the history and what it means to you guys. I think that's really cool. I kind of wish that I kind of had the same opportunity, but all of us have had so many different lives in our family. It's like nobody has this. Other than we'll all watch NASCAR. All the boys will watch NASCAR. Outside of that, there's really no the same anything. Well, I take that back. 3 of us are mechanical. Well, I was a mechanical. I was in the military, but there was agree with McKenna, but anyway, it's not. I don't know. It's not say. 2015. How did that fare out for the Havens Racing team? All in all, and then 2016, with you guys changing the program and going to the dirt. What are your guys' goal? I mean, outside obviously winning races, what do you guys want to accomplish most? And is this change going to be? You're going to continue moving forward in the dirt program, or is this something you guys just wanted to toy with this year and to see, if this is something you guys really wanted to go to and possibly move back? What is the long-term goal or direction for Havens Racing?
Well, the 2015 season, we were very, very pleased with the outcomes that we had as far as the way the car handled, the way we worked together with Steve driving the car. I mean, everything went great. We just ran a handful of races through the year, and like I said, everything was just exactly what we expected it to be. This year, as far as the dirt, we're really optimistic. I know we've got a very good car, horsepower-wise, car-wise. We're exactly where we need to be. Driver he's spot on. He's ready to go right now. He can't wait. Expectations for the season. Right now, we're just looking to really make a good showing the first couple of times we go, with us just getting our feet wet and get everything used to being back on dirt. Mm-hmm. We're really, really optimistic about how everything's going to go. I think that we're going to run a limited late model is what we're running now. And if everything continues to do like what we're planning, if everything progresses like what I'm hoping it will, we will probably move up into either probably a crate late model, mm-hmm. or maybe a modified, one or the other.
Now, for those that are new to Havens Racing, and more specifically Jay, Jay was originally a driver, and medical condition came up that he was unable to continue racing. Jay, could briefly talk a little bit about that for those that are new to the show, that have don't know your story, and let them know how you made the adjustment, and you've kind of taken on this role of owner, crew chief, and taking this program really kind of took this whole thing and kind of just moved forward with it, instead of you got people that the dream or the bubble kind of get busted and they just kind of mope around and really kind of get lost. And it's not what you did. You went ahead and, you kind of tackled it and decided, if I can't be in the car, then the next best thing is, make an opportunity for someone else and continue the tradition, continue Havens Racing, and kind of let them know a little bit about that.
Well, back in the 2014 season, we sat down and decided that we were going to test the waters and try running a Rolling Thunder modified. So we built the car up, got everything prepared. We actually built the car in 2013 and ran one race with it, in which I won that race and got the 110 Nation into victory lane for the first time. And we decided in 2014, let's just continue the momentum, keep running like we're doing, and see where it goes. Well, we started the season off at Franklin County Speedway, and I started having a few issues inside of the car with my right leg going numb under practice. So I was like, well, I'm trying out a new safety device. Let me see if I can readjust it and readjust myself in the car and see if that cures it. Well, about halfway through the race, the entire right side of my leg from about my hip down to my knee just went completely numb. So I came over the radio and I was like, Dad, look, I'm having a problem inside the car. Something ain't right. And then in the same race, something ended up happening with the motor as well. So luckily enough, I was able to, keep the car in one piece, keep the motor in one piece. So when we came in, I told Dad, I said, look, something's wrong with my leg. I'm going to go to the doctor. And that's when my doctor ended up diagnosing me with degenerative disc in my spine from an accident that had happened back in the 2010 season. So when I got that news, of course, I was devastated. I was heartbroken. I was hurt, and I was upset. I was mad. And when I had to break the news to everybody at the shop, I was like, this is what's going on. The doctor told me I need to sit out for a while and maybe try again sometime else. Well, to finish out the 2014 season, I had a returning driver, Daryl Gwynn, come and run a few races for us. And he meted my expectations and everything. And I told Dad, I said, I'm going to try driving another car in a test session just to see, what happens. So luckily enough, I was also working with James Turner at the time on the Southern Ground Pounders Vintage division. I asked him, I said, hey, would you mind if I just test your car one day at the track or something? And sure enough, the same exact issue happened again. And when I went back to the doctor, I told him, I said, look, it happened again. I tried testing another car, same story. So he told me, he said, no, Jay, it's best for you to just get out and stop. He said, would you rather be able to walk outside and play with your son, or would you rather not be able to walk outside? And I was like, well, that hit me the hardest. So before I made the difficult decision to get out of the seat, I sat down and I was like, I told my wife what was going on. Of course, she's upset. She's just beside herself, like, oh, man, what's going to happen to you, so on and so forth. And I told her, I said, I'm looking at it from not only a health standpoint, but as a parental standpoint as well. I said, I would rather be able to walk through the yard with my son and run with my son at the playground and be able to, do that kind of fun thing as a father would. So about midway through the 2014 season, I made the difficult announcement of having to step out of the seat and replace myself. Luckily enough, I was still working with a few other teams and ended up winning my first championship as a crew chief that year with James Turner. So it kind of boosted my spirits at the same time that I was, going through a very difficult time. And over the off season in 2014, me and my dad sat down and we were trying to decide, are we going to just stop altogether, close the doors here at the shop, or what we were going to do. So that's when my dad told me, he said, well, if you feel like you still want to be able to have a car in the shop and still have a family-owned car, he said, we got to find a driver. And Steve Brody has been a friend to me and my father at the same time for many, many years. And we called him up and was like, hey, look, we've got this asphalt car. I know you're a dirt guy, but would you be interested in driving it? And he didn't even have to think about it. He was like, man, yeah, absolutely, let's go. He said, I'll get us some sponsors. I'll do this. I'll help you with this, blah, blah, blah. And I guess you could say the rest is history. Steve, man, he has been a huge, huge help as far as helping me make the transition from driver to crew chief, spotter, owner, all that stuff. And, this year where I haven't ran dirt in a very long time, I'm kind of feeling like he did last year as far as the differences between dirt and asphalt. So as much as I helped him with, explaining how the car will react to this and different changes on the asphalt side, he's been helping me a lot on preparing me for, okay, well, if we do these changes on this car, it's going to do this when it slides through the corner. So it's definitely been a hurtful thing of having to realize that, I'm not the driver anymore. But at the same time, I still have those same prideful moments anytime I see Steve leading a race or starting on the pole or, just running top three like he did for the last part of the 2015 season. So it's like my dad said earlier, we've got very high we're very optimistic on how this year's going to go because this car we've got now, it's a very good piece, and it's actually a car that Steve has drove in the past before. And I definitely know that he's going to be extremely excited to be back in this car and be back on dirt, and we're all very excited about what this season's going to bring.
Now, obviously, being, it being in your blood and being a driver, you're always going to miss it. But have you gotten to a point now that maybe you don't miss it as much, or you've embraced your role now to a point where, you really enjoy what you're doing and maybe not think about being out there on the track so much?
I have. Definitely last year was the real eye-opener for me as far as, I'm not driving anymore. But having people like Steve, and I've worked with 3 or 4 other drivers last year as far as spotting for them and crew chiefing cars and working on them, so on and so forth, there's been a whole lot of people to help make the transition easier for me. And at the same time, I've embraced the new roles that I've been put in, and I still have that same driver mentality of, okay, I've got to be spot on this, I've got to be spot on that. And as far as, being able to look at it from having drove and given the feedback that I see from the spotter stand or from the top of the pit box, as far as, okay, well, I see the car doing this going into the corner and so on and so forth, I've definitely embraced this new role, and I've gone at it with 110% just like I did as a driver.
How important has it been for the transition to have your dad there with you, someone that has been around for so long, is second out of the potentially 4 generations of Haven Racing, and has kind of been there and kind of was able to be kind of a mentor? How big was that for you?
Oh, Dad's always been a huge help to me as far as when I was driving, and of course my dad never drove before, so he couldn't exactly know exactly what I'm feeling inside the car. But where he's been around it so much, he was able to, look at the car like I am now and say, okay, well, I've seen it do this. Was it really doing this, or was that something that you were doing? And, Dad's been a huge, huge help as far as the transition has gone. And, I couldn't be more thankful for him and my grandpa both. They've actually helped to teach me everything that I know right now and help embrace it on the cars that we own, plus the other cars that I work on as well.
Jay, I want to first of all, I want to thank everybody that's joined us. Jay, Mike, Cameron. It's really been cool to be able to sit here and have a conversation with you guys. I hate using the word interview because it never feels like an interview. It just feels like we're all sitting around chatting. But more specifically, Jay, I want to thank you a lot. It means a lot to us, and more specifically me, to have you on this week. This is, a big deal for us. There's not a lot of, people that do what we do and make it this long. A lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people think this is just some get rich scheme thing to do, and as much as I wish it was, far from the imagination. I know I've not spent close to the money you guys have spent, but I've spent my fair share of doing just to do this alone. So to have you guys, to have you back on, to have the relationship that we have had, to know that anytime that I want your opinion on something, want to talk to you about something, if it be professional, if it be personal, if it be sports, whatever the case may be, you've always been there, and it means a lot to us, and it means a lot to me. It meant a lot to have you guys on the show this week. Someone that was kind of one of the front ends of the whole 110 Nation Sports Show, and the sponsorship and everything we've been a part of, and it's conversations that we're still going to have. I ain't forgot you. I remember our conversations we had about a month ago. So I just want to thank you for everything that you've done for us over the last handful of years, a couple of years that we've had our relationship with you guys, and I want to wish you guys the best of luck in 2016 and forward. And I definitely will be getting up with you here real soon to see about the 110 Nation being more part of what's going on over there at Havens Racing.
Well, hey, we definitely appreciate everything that you guys have done for us in the past, as far as coming on board with us a couple of years ago, and giving the shout outs on Facebook and Twitter and so on and so forth, man. 5 years, man, that's great for you guys. I mean, congratulations on that, man.
Thank you. It's been a long road. There's been a lot of. I know you guys know exactly what I'm about to say. It's been a lot of learning, a lot of mistakes. So it's not to the extreme, but just imagine every time you guys go from dirt to asphalt to dirt, you start over from day one. Now, I know you guys don't start over from day one, even though it's kind of that way. But, I mean, we literally, every time that we have changed, it's been almost every year until this last year, we literally start back over like we are brand new out the gate. And I've learned my mistakes, and I will never do that one again. But I do want to thank you guys. I'm tired of starting over. I'm tired of being looked at as day one. I like this 5-year status better. But I definitely want to thank you guys. Like I said, I'll be getting up with you here sometime in the next week or two so we can finish having our conversations. But definitely want to wish you guys the best of luck 2016. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Cameron, for coming on. And thanks for answering the questions that I had for you guys as well. Jay, you have a great night, and we'll be talking real soon.
All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate everything, man, and look forward to hearing from you soon. And, hey, I just got to give one more special shout-out. Steve, Dad, Cameron, Andy, Courtney, Charity, Christy, everybody here at Havens Racing, they do a phenomenal job, and I couldn't be more proud to have a team behind me like this. And CJ, you and Lee, y'all are great, and appreciate everything.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and we'll catch you up real soon.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for having us. Yes, sir. That was Jay Havens Racing. Like I said, I don't know exactly what number in order he was, but he was towards the front of the line when we actually became the 110 Nation Sports Show. We had different shows. I think I was the CJ Sports Show for the longest time, and the 110 Sports Talk, and then we kept evolving to where we're at now. And he was one of the first guests to come on there. And like I said, we've had marketing partnerships. We've had him on the show a lot of times. I get to have a lot of personal conversations with him. I think that's one of the coolest things. And I hate to claim that I have 600 friends on Facebook. Not that it really matters, but 50. I would say roughly 50 of them are legitimate people that I went to school with or family. All the rest of them, it's sports world, and the fact that they've embraced me and I get to have conversations with so many different people that without the show, I never would have had these conversations and never got to know these people on a personal level. And for the fact that they take their time away from their busy schedules, not to only come on the show, but for us to have conversations back and forth on messaging or comments or emails or whatever the case may be. It's been really cool to have that opportunity, especially as long as we've had this with Jay. And like I said, we talked. It wasn't even talking about coming on the show. We just legitimately had a conversation a month ago. I moved out in the beginning of March is when I moved last, and we had a conversation. I think a week after I moved out. So it's been just about a month ago. I was able to sit down and message back and forth and have a conversation. So it was really cool. It might have even been the last week of February. It might have been my birthday that he ended up contacting me. But it's really cool. And and I see you, Mason. I'm getting ready to plug in here. I tell people, and I think people really think that I am joking when I say this. This whole 110 thing, 5 years Friday, had literally killed a 13-year relationship. I neglected my responsibilities. It was and don't get me wrong, it was up and down relationship, and I don't think we ever would have made it anyway. But we just kind of stuck it out. We had kids together and everything else, and we are best friends now. Like, it's probably the best thing that ever happened to our situation. But I would not trade anything for what I have right now, where we are right now, and the relationships that I get to have and the conversations I get to have. I mean, hell, I'm getting ready to have Mason Mitchell on the show. I mean, not only is he the most probably inspiring person that I get to talk to, 21 years old and accomplished everything that he has accomplished, but he's come on the show graciously many times, and it's almost his whole stable has been on the show. Not everybody gets to say that. Not everybody gets to have these conversations, and I would not trade it for nothing at all. I think the only thing that I would have done differently is I wouldn't have restarted almost every year. That would, hey, let's do this different. Let's do this year. I learned a lot, and maybe I would have spent my money more wisely. And I hate talking about how, spending money and talking about what it costs to do this, especially having race car drivers and team owners on the show. I feel like such an inconsiderate idiot knowing the amount of money that Jay Havens and Mason Mitchell spend probably on a daily basis, probably dropping the bucket what I spend a month or even a year. So I hate talking about it, but, the budget I have, it's a lot to us. So, right now, $10 is a lot to me. So that tells you anything. But anyway, Mason didn't hang out in the studio listening to me talk, and everybody tuned in tonight ain't listening to me talk either. They come to listen to Mason talk tonight. So without any further delay, let's get him on the show. Mason, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Just doing a little late dinner and getting ready to get our Salem piece ready to go and all that. And I did want to let you guys know, I forgot my charger when I was traveling here. My phone's at 2%, so it could die any time here in the next couple minutes. So, but all good down here.
And late dinner, I'll tell you what, the steak and potatoes are getting ready to be put in the oven for myself. So as soon as we get off the show, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. So I definitely feel like this. Since we got very limited time, I want to go ahead and give you an opportunity to plug Mason Mitchell Motorsports and yourself as well. So any social media you want to throw out there, team site, sponsorships, anything you want to throw out there real quick. That way the fans know how to follow you and keep up with you.
Yeah, of course. We're on Facebook and with Mason Mitchell Motorsports. We're on Twitter at MMM_race. I'm on Twitter at The Mason Racing, Instagram at The Mason Racing, Mason Mitchell Motorsports on Instagram. All of our sponsors, Carl Chevrolet, all the SRI, Stock Car Steel, everybody that helps out with the program. Whatever they do, it continues to keep us going, and all our drivers, family members of the drivers, family members of our crew guys, the guys that put in hours and hours and hours to build these fast race cars, and that's all we can ask for is fast race cars every week, and that's what we try to deliver for our drivers, and we just keep on looking forward to the next one, and just truly blessed with all this going on.
Outside of Daytona, that kind of got things not started on the right foot for you guys, but remove Daytona from the equation. How has the rest of the 2016 season gone for you on the owner side of the house? Are things going the way that you hoped? Are you reaching some of the goals that you set this far into the season?
Yeah, we only had one race after Daytona, which was Nashville. It was last weekend. We had Brady Boswell driving for us, and we led 44 laps, I believe, and had a great car all night long. Ran top 3. Unfortunately, during our first pit stop, we weren't able to get any fuel in the car and ran out with 3 to go. So, unfortunately, didn't get to finish like we wanted to, but we ran top 3 all night, led a bunch of laps, and that's all you can ask for and from our team to have a fast race car, and we delivered again.
Now, what's up next for you guys track-wise?
We race at Salem, not this weekend, but the next, Salem, Indiana, half mile, kind of like Bristol. And
who you got piloting your cars that weekend?
We'll be announcing that soon, hopefully.
Oh, see how it goes. Gotcha. No, just joking. I didn't know that, so I wanted to find out what I didn't know. Salem, pretty good track for you guys traditionally?
Yes, really good track. We've 2014 we led over 150 laps there, finished second. Led laps there a lot of times we went there, so awesome track for us, and I feel confident. I feel like going in this next one, that it's going to be one of our best shots at it.
So far, the drivers you've had stand in, I think you had Brady and you had Gus. I don't remember if you had anybody else or not, and if you did, throw them out there real quick as well. How have they fared so far behind the Triple M machines for you? And he died. Oh, hopefully we'll get him back on soon. I love having Mason Mitchell on the show, and don't if you happen to be able to turn him back in or anything, Mason, I don't take it personal. Everybody has moments where the phones are dying and everything else. As great as technology is, it's also it hinders us and handicaps us as well. But Mason, we got Mason on a couple of years ago, and he was making if I'm not mistaken, a championship run, and was trying to accomplish a lot, and to watch him go from a race car driver to a team owner, and just to see what he's accomplished in the 2 years, 2 seasons anyway, that we've had Mason on the show. I want to say it was him finishing up the 2014 seasons when we got him on the show the first time, and he ended up winning that race, if I recall correctly. It was like we was either 2 for 2 or 3 for 3 there for a minute, where every time he came on the show, he won the next race. And as a matter of fact, I know he won the championship. All he had to do was start up the car that race, and that's what it was. I don't think he won that race after. I think he won the championship after that, and then he won the next race or 2 after that, if I remember. Something like that. But he ended up winning the championship that following race after the show. But we got an opportunity to be introduced to Mason Mitchell and Superman, as I like to call him. Anybody knows that, and watch him win his first race. He opened up his driver's suit, and he had a big Superman shirt on. So he's probably one of the most inspiring stories for me. And the reason I say this, and we got a great guest coming on tomorrow night. We got Eric Saunders. He's been on the 110 Nation Sports Show. He's going to be joining the Racing with Big Sweat tomorrow night. And he got paralyzed from the waist down motocross. And he switched over to sprint cars. He's got a lot of connections with Tony Stewart. And Stewart, I think he drove for, either does or did drive for Tony Stewart Racing in the Sprint Cup Series. And is doing things to help others that are paralyzed from the waist down be able to race. And, he's part of that whole movement. And so we have a lot, and for different reasons, have a lot of inspiring stories. But for me, where Mason Mitchell is different and from the others, I guess it's because I relate when it comes to what Mason Mitchell has done and what he's doing. I can't relate on the whole being paralyzed thing. I'm not paralyzed. It's not that it's not an inspiring story. It's probably one of the most inspiring stories when it comes to racing. But where I don't relate to that, to me, watching Mason Mitchell do what he has done, already by the age of 21, won a championship in the ARCA Series, youngest team owner in the ARCA Series, to take that lunge, because he was not a team owner when we first brought him on the show. He was driving for someone else, and take that to become a team owner, and everything that he has done, and provide opportunities for other drivers. I get to relate to that. The only difference is he does it at 21 years old. I'm 38 years old. That's really the biggest difference, other than the amount of money I know that he spends versus I spend. But we like to provide opportunities for others. That's kind of why, we bring Izzo on. And like I said last night, I would love more than anything when we get established and we're in a building, we're on 24/7 and everything else. And, we got the sponsorships and the ads coming in where, it's a career opportunity that, he'll be there and it be a career opportunity for him. And the same thing with, Chris and Damien in the Dirt Talk Hour and, so forth and so forth. He's doing what he passionately loves to do, which blows my mind because 21 years old, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And even younger, obviously, he was a team owner at 20 and driving before then. I had no idea. All I knew at 20 years old that I was overseas in Hungary, Bosnia, and Croatia, and I was in the military, and I enjoyed what I did. Don't get me wrong. There was no greater feeling to me than doing what I did. There was nothing, and two stories. One, there was nothing. There was nothing like the feeling that knowing that the shop below us. I don't know if they were called. Can't remember what they were, but the people below us, they're the ones that diagnosed the problem, and sent it to us, and we fixed it. There was nothing greater, no greater feeling to me than they could push in a Humvee first thing in the morning. Got there at 9 o'clock. Done my PT, done. Ate breakfast, come back, or go to the shop. There was no greater feeling There was no greater feeling than for them to pull in a Humvee at 9 o'clock, and by myself, I could either have by 11:30 lunchtime, either I could have everything disconnected and have that motor ready to be pulled out, or I could have it to the point that I have it hoisted up and it actually pulled out of the Humvee. And then go to lunch, come back, and either I can switch everything over and put it back in, or I can continue to lift it out, switch everything over that needs to be switched over, and put it back in, and have it ready and pushed out the bay by the time I got up at 5 o'clock. There was no greater feeling. I honestly loved what I did for the military. I just didn't care to do it for the military. A couple things. One, I liked showers. I'm sorry, but I cannot go days without shower. If I had to, it was life or death or whatever, yes, I'll do it. And there's been days. There's been days that I've taken ice cold showers. Hell, I can remember while I was in the military, I had to go to my second job and use the cold water out back to take a hose shower. I mean, that's it's not that. Oh my God, he can't go without a shower. He was just no. But I got my shower. Hygiene is big. I've met a lot of nasty people out there, and I just can't do it. So being in the military, more specifically being a mechanic and going to the field for a week at a time, coming back knowing that the only thing I had to use a porta-john all week to use the bathroom, and that's just like the very unsanitary. And then to know that I use baby wipes all week to freshen up while I'm being a mechanic and digging into the dirt, it's just a horrible feeling. Like, you are just miserable. And I know there's guys out there, oh, God, he's just a pansy. I understand. There's guys out there that are and manly men. I understand. I have been a bouncer. I've been in the military. I've competed in bench press competitions. I have, there's a lot of things I played for. There's a lot of guy things I do, but I still at the same time gotta have a shower. It's just one of those things that, to me, that's just like going a whole week without brushing your teeth. I mean, or going a whole week of doing number twos and never wiping at all. And I mean, you got to do. There's certain things you've got to do. To me, shower is one of them. I remember coming out to the field and would stand in the shower for like an hour and a half before the water was clear. Like, that's how dirty you get. Being a mechanic, digging the holes and doing the stuff that you're supposed to do, playing G.I. Joe while you're out in the field. And it just, that was just not me. Plus the hypocrisy and the double standards when it comes to the military. And I'm sure I'm probably perked off a couple people with this one, but I have no problem with women being in the military. You also understand, I was in from 96 to 2000. I have no problem with women being in the military. But I do have a problem. You can't preach military is one sex, everybody's equal, one color, one sex, one everything. If that is the case, then you've got to have one standard. You can't tell me that I got to do 50 or 60 push-ups to pass, and she can do 10 push-ups to get the same score I can. It's not that, I don't have a problem with females being in the military, but I'm 200 and some odd pounds. Someone that only does 10 push-ups is not picking my big butt up if I get shot and carry me off. It's not going to happen. No way, no how. So, there was a lot more than just that is the double standard, but, there's, some of the things that I just didn't care the difference in sport. Just like I enjoy working out. Obviously, I competed, and I go to the gym 2 years ago. At this point, almost 2 years ago, I was weighing 220 or 250, benching 460. I have no problem going to the gym. I do have a problem when you got to be in uniform, so we come in April, like we've had this month, and we're out in shorts and T-shirts, and it's cold outside, freezing outside, and we're not allowed to alter. We're not allowed to be in the sweatpants. Now, obviously, they've changed their uniform since then, and I don't know the policy now. But back then, everybody had to be in the same thing. So if we're in April and it's time to be, everybody has to, because they have, the certain dates that April 1st you're in this, and then June 1st, whatever I don't know the exact date. But I don't know how many times I was stuck outside in shorts and a T-shirt, and there was either snow on the ground or there was ice on the ground. I'm sorry, but I'm not standing outside at 6 o'clock in the morning, shorts and a T-shirt, and it'd be freezing outside. I'm sorry. I would rather just go at noon and go to the gym and get my workout on versus standing out there. But, have an opportunity to have a vehicle pulled in and be able to do that. I think the other proudest time that I was not the person that diagnosed. I was third shop. I was the one that fixed stuff. So one of the other field projects I went to was somewhere down in South Carolina. A vehicle came in, vehicle broke down, and I am the senior ranking mechanic out there. I have never diagnosed anything at this point. I was just the fixture guy. And anybody listening that knows anything about a Humpy, they have a wire harness. And basically, you have this very thick cable that kind of webs out like spider legs. Like they just go every which direction. And then they have these little plugs that those wires break off into little wires, and they plug into different parts of the Humpy, and it runs from the very back so it can connect to the taillights all the way underneath this vehicle and connects to every different places and goes through all the bottom of this vehicle, the Humpy, to come up into the dash. You can, connect the dash and everything that's electronic. There's got to be, the speedometer, everything. And it's a very tedious project where you got to write down exactly everything so you can make sure you connect that plug to the right plug and make sure it reroutes itself. And when they put it's one of those things that they weren't thinking when they put this stuff together, because it's easy to pull it out because you can cut the wire any which way you want once you write everything down. But to feed this wiring back through, it is really tedious and a pain in the butt work. And sometimes you kind of got to rig stuff up because it was, like I said, they welded. It's like they put the wiring harness underneath there, then they finished putting the vehicle together, the Humvee together, and the wiring, the welding and everything. But here I am, the senior ranking person out there, and I get it diagnosed, and I'm taking a shot in the dark. My fingers are crossed. I'm gonna go with the wire harness. This is what I'm going to say it is. Not having any idea, true, honestly. I'm taking, and I only had one other person with me, and I think they were like a generator mechanic or something. They were not even in the same MOS as I was. And, so I take a shot in the dark, and, let's get a wiring harness. Well, part of me says, let's go ahead and say wiring harness, because the odds of them actually having a wiring harness anywhere close is like slim to none in my thought process. As soon as I say wiring harness, it's like all of a sudden someone rubbed a genie lamp somewhere, and all of a sudden, poof, there's a wire harness. And I didn't really, I thought, okay, I'm going to say wiring harness. This is what's going to happen. They're going to say we can't get one until, for a couple of days. We're just going to tow it back, and that's going to be the end of it. And sure enough, like I said, poof, there's a wire harness. And so I'm taking the other one out, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is not going to end well for me. And I get the old one out, put the new one in, and I tell you what, fingers crossed, prayers were said, turn it over, and poof, there it is. It starts up. My arm could have been any longer. I swear that I would have patted myself very lengthy on the back. That was probably one of my more prouder moments while I was in the military. But I have no idea where I am. We were talking about. Oh, I didn't know what I was wanting to do when I was 20 years old, other than I knew I was overseas. And once I got out of the military, I bounced being a GM at different restaurants. The GM at a place that I worked for 10 years, on and off, a New York style pizza place down here. I was a GM at a Subway. I was a assistant manager at Arby's. I was a GM at another pizza place that I will not give the privilege of saying the name over the radio. An assistant manager, but it wasn't until 5 years ago this Friday, April 15th, that I honestly, truly knew what I wanted to do. So when you have someone such as Mason come on the show and he knows exactly, what he wanted to do and made it happen and provide opportunities for other people, it's just such an inspiring story. And, it honestly and truly gives me like this inspiring, it helps motivate because not only, I see someone, take a hold of their dream and make it happen, but they do it on a much bigger scale and have, like I said, I hate comparing, the dollar values of what we spend versus what they spend. But no matter how much money, and I don't know his financial situation, but no matter how much money you had, you take that comparison to what he has to spend to run a race team versus no matter how much money my financial situation is to run this, it's probably the same equivalency. Like I said, $10 is like hard to come by right now in my, my company. This is what it is. So, I know that they spend a much higher amount, but it's got to be, the same, difficulties. So to see that he has overcome all this is quite inspiring and really honestly continues to help push our drive here at the 110 Nation. And just love having him on the show and looking forward to having him back on the show and looking forward to having his drivers back on the show as well. And I got an opportunity the other day to tell this story, and I don't think I've ever told this story on the show. And it was funny. As a matter of fact, I got to tell the young lady that was working the counter when I went and got my car inspected. They had her call. I forget what they had her call, but they had her call, where they get their parts from, because they don't carry everything at the garage that I go to. So, they got to, order in the parts, and either they deliver out to them or they go pick them up. They had to go in town. And, they got the young lady to call and order something that there was not a such thing of. And so I got to tell this story. Yes. I got to tell the Zone Repair Kit story, too, and I'm going to tell that one, too. This is that last 30 minutes of the night that I get to kind of reminisce, I know it's not 110 story, but you guys honestly will get a good kick out of this story, both these stories. But the first story is while I was in the military, it was very common to have prospects come to you, especially being in the shop, looking for a couple things. One, a chem light battery, and for any of those that don't know what a chem light is, those little glow-in-the-dark sticks that if you bend them, they snap and they glow. Well, they're called chem lights in the military. It was very common to have a private come looking for chem light batteries. Also, to have a private come looking for a box of grid squares, just really random, or chop block fluid. Very common, but we had a young private, and he was a really cool private. As a matter of fact, he was really like infatuated with the Rock. Like he could do the whole eyebrow thing. There was not any sketch stain or sprays or anything as the Rock did that this guy could not do. He ended up being who I would watch a lot of wrestling with, because he was just fun to be around. But we had him down at the shop one day, and we had these little, I don't know, looked like they could be his size, something to take a urinalysis, and that's about all the bigger it was. And what they normally were used for was to take transmission and oil samples, to see, check the fluids and make sure anything to be, nothing wrong with it or you need to be changed or anything else. Well, we thought that it would be entertaining. Well, our sergeant thought it would be entertaining that if the private would take a exhaust sample. And this entails, we convinced the private to unscrew the top of this canister, this little container, stand where the exhaust pipe is, and try to catch the exhaust coming out of the LMTV, which is one of the bigger vehicles in the military. And so, only thing you can see is the sergeant in the cab of this LMTV and you can see this private standing over there, and the exhaust comes out a little bit behind the cab is where the exhaust pipe is on this, and kind of at an angle, so you can see him standing there. And the next thing you see this sergeant rev up this LMTV. And to the point that there is so much black smoke, you can no longer see the private. He's revving it up as hard as I think I've ever seen this LMTV ever revved up. And to give you an idea, this private was probably a good 6'4", probably 225-ish, 235-ish kind of guy. Not a small guy. So to have him invisible to us because there's so much black smoke, we're all over there rolling. And, he's not paying us no mind. Gets done, comes back. We all got a straight face on our, got our composure. Hands the container over to one of our staff sergeant, our shop side. I can't remember what the hell it was actually called. Wasn't our squad leader. Our squad leader was the one that was in the LMTV revving it up. But walks over, hands it to him, and we're looking at this canister, this container. We don't see nothing in it. Did you get anything in it? And he's like, I was over there trying to, get it in there, and we don't see nothing. So they send this poor private back over to do it again. This time, they lay into it. There is so much black smoke. It looks like the LMTV is hot fire. There's so much exhaust coming out. Revving it up. And you can see that some of the black from the smoke is kind of, on his face. You can tell that it looks like, he was in direct line of the exhaust. They revved that thing up so hard it made no sense. And he comes back once again, and they look at this container, and they start to give him a hard time. At this point, it's all you can do to keep a straight face, and they go ahead and inform him, look, we just messing with you. There is no such thing. I tell you what, if this would have been us hanging out at a bar, or if this would have been us hanging out at the club, or if this would have been us hanging out anywhere else, and there was no rank involved, there was no sergeants, squad leaders, and none, I think, honestly, there probably would have been a fight because he was beyond mad. To be standing there with all that exhaust blowing in his face for the extended period of time that was. Shorty had brought up another story that I like to tell. Like I said, I have worked in the pizza business for one company of 10 years, Brooklyn Pizzeria. Make sure you guys check them out. I want to say it's 1134, but it's Spring Lake. Their number is 436-5666, area code 910. As a matter of fact, I went there and ended up eating there twice I didn't eat there twice. I ate there once on Monday, and that's where my daughter wanted to celebrate and get her birthday dinner from. So I took them back up there. But I've been long-time friends with the whole family. But I've worked at Pizza Hut. I've worked at another place that's unmentionable. But I've probably been in the pizza business in total probably about 13, 14 years altogether. When I was working at one of the different locations for Brooklyn, where the same best friend that we had the whole resting the player conversation, his brother worked for us. And we're in there, and we're stretching pizzas, and I'm in there making pizzas, and it's New York style pizza, so of course it's thin and the big pizza. Well, I had accidentally ripped a hole in the dough when I was stretching it, and so we looked at him and we thought, well, this is an opportunity for us. I don't even know how it got brought up, but an opportunity for us to mess with somebody. So we looked at his brother and look. Run down to the Dollar Tree and get us a dough repair kit. And for those that are still kind of clueless what I'm talking about, all you got to do, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm, it might sound like it's something. There's got to be someone out there. What is he talking about? All you got to do is just kind of top the hole and cover the hole. But yeah, kind of mend it back together. But we thought it'd be funny to have a whole repair kit that you're supposed to go get. So we sent him down to Dollar Tree, and he swear, he's down there forever. I'm like, wow, where's this guy? We done moved on to like 10 other pizzas by this point. And he's got the staff, the managers in there in the Dollar Tree looking, cannot find a dough repair kit for nothing. He's gone for like a good 15, 20 minutes. Comes back, he's like, man, I know that there's one in there. I know I've seen a dough repair kit. They cannot find one for nothing in there. I was like, well, go down to Walmart. So he goes down to Walmart. We're in a Walmart shopping center. And he's walking around Walmart looking for one. And now he's got the whole management staff in the food section looking for it. They swear up and down they have a dough repair patch kit. Obviously, they have no idea what the heck they're talking about. So he's down at Walmart forever looking for this dough repair patch kit that there's not a such thing of. And got Walmart staff looking for it. Done had the Dollar Tree staff looking for it. Now we got the whole shopping center involved in this. And so he comes back. After all this time, like now done 30, 45 minutes have gone by. John moved on and made multiple pizzas since then. And don't know why it never clicked in his head. Oh, that's the pizza's not sitting on the oven or on the paddle no more. I don't see this dough ripped up no more. But, you know, it is what it is, and he's still going along with it. So we're still running with it. And, of course, at this point in time, me and my best friend, we're trying our hardest to keep a straight face this whole time. And, you know, it was like, you know what? Why don't you run across the street? I can't remember if it was a Pizza Hut or what, or I think it was a Papa John's. It was across the street. I was like, how about you run across the street? Papa John's has got to have one. And just see if you can buy one from them or borrow one from them. We'll return it to them. So, and he doesn't have a car. I don't even have a license at the time. I can't remember. But I let him take my car anyway, right across the road. So he takes off in my car to go check Papa John's or whatever it is across the street. We get on the phone real quick. But look, we got an employee coming over there. He is going to ask you for a dough repair patch kit. Just let him know that Domino's or Pizza Hut, I don't care whatever company, it was not them. I said, let them know that they just came by and got the last one from them before you got there. And so he's gone for a couple minutes. He comes back, and now he's mad. He's like, I went over there. They knew I was coming over there. And right before I got there, they said that they looked at another pizza place, get the dough repair patch kit. And he was heated. At this point, so now you're getting mad at another pizza company for no reason at all. Being part of this joke, we finally had to break down and tell him the truth, which he was not happy. I don't think he talked to us for like a couple of days after that. But those had to be probably the two funnest stories and entertaining times we've had with people when it comes to doing stuff like that. I say, oh goodness, the things that people do to other people. I can only imagine how many other stories out there. But yeah, I just thought about that when I was talking about getting my car fixed and everything else. But yeah, oh my goodness, I'm trying to think if there was any other ones we used to do. Shorty said she's done it to many employees as well. And she's been in the pizza business for a hot minute and is still in the pizza business. Yeah, those. If you get nothing else out of tonight's show, at least you got those two stories you got to hear. Cleveland Cavaliers is now live on Facebook. Fan Appreciation Night. I think that's rather ironic that you have a fan appreciation night on a night that none of your starters are going to play or suit up or do anything. Out of all the nights to have a fan appreciation night, the last night of your regular season that none of your actual key names are going to play is probably the last night. Out of all the nights, you should have a fan appreciation night. But who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Rather ironic. What we got going on here? Let's get you guys updated on the NHL. At least they're already in the playoffs. Pittsburgh at home is up 4-2 over the Rangers with about 9 minutes left in the third. We also got Chicago and St. Louis. They are in the second. They are tied up at 0. Looking to be about 17 minutes left. And Tampa Bay went on to hold on to beat Detroit in Tampa Bay 3-2. They lead that series now 1-0. Gotta check this out. I'm letting this refresh because Von Miller is trolling Cam Newton, and it's got to be entertaining. It's always entertaining. Anybody trolling Cam Newton. When divas in professional sports get trolled and get put in their place, it is always beyond entertaining, and we definitely gotta definitely see if it lets me refresh. I mean, it's not. Of course not. Why would it go smooth? Johnny Manziel agent says either get treatment or I'll dump. There's just really no future there. You might as well just go ahead and dump them. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get this refreshed one way or another. Oh, for those that were waiting for the news, we were very disappointed with the letter that came in the mail yesterday. Got the got the news via snail mail. Dear Mr. CJ Sports, we have received your credential request for the 2016 Geico 500, Talladega 300, and General Tire 200 at Talladega Superspeedway, April 29th through May 1st. Unfortunately, we are unable to blah, 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 blah. How unfortunate.
The sad thing about it is I read it. Like, I opened it, and I saw all our names down there. And I got super excited before I even read it because I was like, why would they send us a letter in the mail, all our names with everything we wanted just to tell us no? And then I read it.
It's funny because this is like the only printout. And we've been approved. Between myself, Miss Lee, Miss Brandy, Shorty, I don't want to say that's it.
No.
Steve.
Miss Lee.
I said Miss Lee. And Miss Lee's husband. We've probably been approved for 30 to 40 races. Then you throw in Chris got approved to do Memphis Tiger basketball. Izzo got approved to do Carolina Hurricane hockey. This is probably the first actual letter when it comes to media credential I actually have. Like, I've never printed out any of the rest of them. This just happened to come in the mail. It's the only reason I got to print out. I just thought it was rather ironic that the one of very few, there's not been a lot we've actually not been approved of. And you know, so I don't get upset about it because we have been approved by a lot of tracks. And you know, the Hurricanes, the Memphis Tigers. So I can't complain. But I just thought it was ironic that one of the very few times we are unfortunately unable to issue the following credentials letter. We actually got that printed out. Like I said, even though they're the ones that printed it out, because I wasn't printing it out. I didn't print out the approval, even though I was told I should, and I really wish I would have over all these years that I would have printed them out just so we had them, you know, kind of use it for your resume. But
I mean, I'm going to keep it for, you know, my memory box. Speaking of which, we have that now. Put it in.
But, yes, unfortunately. But don't get me wrong. Come the fall race, come next year, come the following year, I'm determined that we will finally get in there. You know, I was shocked, you know, right out the gates. We got Homestead. Let's see from a distance. You know, and a lot of the other tracks. Hell, it took me Charlotte. It took Charlotte. I think it took me three times, and it took a partner company that we were involved with to actually finally get me in when we finally got in the first time. So it's not something that we won't. You know, we'll keep trying. I don't give up, especially when I got a track I definitely want to go to. I'm going to probably wait another 5 years before I try the whole Daytona beast, because I've been informed by many different media outlets that getting into Daytona for the 500 is a very difficult task. And you know, I want to continue to build our resume here before I try the Brickyard. You know, Indianapolis would definitely be another track that we would love to find our presence in. But, yes, unfortunately, we did get the no-go letter. But don't count us out. We'll definitely be at a track near you. Just got to get on the ball to start working in, sending in the rest of the credentials. SMI has been very, very good to us. Seems like almost every time. I know last year we didn't get hot passes from Bristol. I could have went with a cold pass, but I saw no point in driving 4 hours to hang out in the garage area and then have to leave. And financially, I wouldn't have placed 5 tickets, or it would have been idealistic to go ahead with cold passes, hang out, before the race, and then actually sit in the stands. I would love to go to Bristol once as a fan. Every time that I've gone so far, the 2 years that I've gone and the 4 races, 6 races, I can't remember if I watched truck races while I was there as well, have all been as media. I wouldn't mind doing that as a fan once. But SMI, has lit us in Atlanta. They've lit us in Bristol. They've lit us in Kentucky. They finally lit us in Charlotte. I've been approved. I think we've been approved for Vegas. We just never made out that trip out there. It seems like I was approved for maybe Texas or somebody out west as well. And then I think New Hampshire they did decline us for. But SMI has been very complimentary. And like Mason Mitchell said about late dinner, that dinner is just about hitting that spot. It's just about done. Might have to cut the show about 5 minutes. Certainly, steak was mighty on point there. But anyway. Yeah, that's my first favorite. Gotcha. Tomorrow night, we got Rubbing This Racing. No, we got Racing with the God, I hate both the shows start with an R. I really do. I never thought that I would have such an issue and constantly mix them up, and I constantly do. But we got Racing with Big Sweat tomorrow night, 9 p.m. He's got a great show lined up for you guys tomorrow night, as he's got asphalt modified driver Timmy Sarmiento, NASCAR late model driver Chad Fincham, and like I said, he's got sprint car driver Eric Saunders on the show tomorrow. Very, very excited about being able to hang out in the studio and listen to that tomorrow night. Friday, big show. We'll be playing our birthday wishes and looking forward to having some guests on the show. Looking forward to having some of the staff members as they will be joining the show as well. I'm very, very excited about the 5-year mark. Day off of work and nothing but 110. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself all day Friday. But very, very excited about finally hitting that 5-year mark. And then after that, it is what it is until 10. I'm not one of those that we do every year. I'll mention it's our anniversary. As a matter of fact, I think the year before, I didn't even say something until it was like 2 months past it. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and so forth. Our milestones to me, 7 years, I just, somewhere between 5 and 10. But got a very, very big show planned for that night. Very excited about that. We'll probably have 2 episodes of Happy Hour Garage. They've had a couple shows, so looking forward to that on Saturday. And then, of course, we'll be wrapping things up on our birthday week, Sunday night, Pure Talk Hour, as Chris and Damian put on a very, very excellent show. And Johnny Manziel, ex-Browns quarterback, reportedly involved in a hit-and-run accident. There you go. If things could get no worse for Johnny Manziel. Johnny's football. Manziel was a passenger in a car. Well, there you go. Allegedly hit a light pole in Hollywood and fled Saturday. Not quite as dramatic as the headline made it seem like he was involved with hitting the car and taking off and he being the driver. So really not as dramatic as the headlines try to make it seem. You know what? I just can't wait to say that Johnny football is no longer in football, and we can not have to spend any time having conversations about Johnny Manziel. Really just, I wonder how other athletes feel. Kind of slapping their face and all the attention thrown on somebody that's really nothing and never will be anything. So, I don't know. Got to thank everybody that whatever liked us. Unless a miracle happens between now and Friday, we're not going to hit that 1,000 like mark. But I tell you what, even though we're not going to hit it, it has been great to see us grow almost every single day. We was probably upper 700s a couple months ago, and we're at 860. I know 1,000 in 5 years doesn't seem like a lot to anybody else, but knowing that we've literally restarted every year until this last year, to include our face, we probably would have had a couple thousand at this point if we would have had the same Facebook page over the 5 years. But essentially, we've only had this Facebook page for about a year, and almost be at 1,000. I think that's a great, accomplishment for us. Friday, we might still do a little something. We ain't gonna have 5 days to give away goodie bags, but we might dig into the archives and see what we can pull out and do a little something for the Friday show. So, but I got to thank everybody that's gone over there. I got to thank everybody that's helped us continuously grow. 25 straight days that we have continuously grown. 26 days now that we have continuously grown on the One Pin Nation Sports Radio Network. Blog Talk Radio did they changed their format on how to get the stats, and ever since then we have grown every single day since then. And I want to thank everybody that continues to spread the word, that have checked out some other shows, maybe until recently you never checked out the Dirt Talk Hour or Rubbing Is Racing or Racing with Big Sweat or Happy Hour Garage. I want to thank those that have expanded their horizons here in their listening view, and those that have shared the shows as well and help us continue to grow. It's really cool to continuously see every single day we grow just a little bit more. If it's the shows, if it's on Twitter, if it's on Facebook, we get to everybody knows listening to the show. I'm a very statistical person, and I'm all about stats and numbers, and that's one of the things that I do on a daily basis. I'm very thankful for that. I got to make sure that I thank Snafu Seasoning, the sponsor of Racing with Big Sweat. They've been on board for, I want to say about 6 months now. Make sure you guys check them out at snafuseasoning.com. Also got to thank YellowCautionFlag.com. They're the sponsor of the Dirt Talk Hour. They've been on board for the last couple months, the return after the Christmas break. So very thankful for them on board as well. And also got to thank Fit for Life coming on board this month, being a new marketing partner. Make sure you guys check them out. Many locations near you. Check them out on Facebook, Fit for Life. Check them out on the World Wide Web, Fit for Life. Also, $34.99, 24/7, 365. You have access any single day, any single minute of the day. Make sure you guys check them out. And
they have specials they run every month.
Oh yeah, they
sometimes they go one. Sometimes they do half off.
Yeah, they do half off, 2-for-1s. They're going to be sending me. As their specials come up, they're going to let me know more and more about their specials to be able to promote and let you guys know about them as well.
If you come to Dina's Pizza and you come manager, you get to
But got to thank all those people that help make everything possible. And I know everybody's like, well, Mr. TJ Sports, you said there's no money coming in. There's no money coming in. All these sponsors has got to do with free advertising for products. We get Steve gets a bunch of Snafu season to hand out to the call-ins. We trade off membership for advertising. I mean, essentially, yes, I'm getting monetary out of it, but I get a free gym membership out of it for the trade-off. And if you're out there and you're a company that, maybe your budget's in the same situation as these companies or ourselves, and we can scratch your back, you scratch our back kind of thing, feel free to contact me. If you're out there, you just legitimately want to sponsor with us, have an ad put on our site, our shows, All you do is send me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com. Also, if you're interested in joining the One Ten Nation, if you got a show that you want to have syndicated on our network, maybe you want to help co-host a show, maybe you're an expert in a certain sport and you want to come on and talk about it 30 minutes, hour a week, whatever the case may be. Maybe talking on the air is not you. Maybe you want to write and get your voice and your opinion out that way. Or maybe you're behind the scene person, if it's marketing, PR, social media, whatever the case may be. Like I said, hit me up, MrCJSports@gmail.com. Also, if you're interested in being on the show, maybe you're an athlete, part of some kind of athletic organization or whatever the case may be. Maybe you got some charity, like we had Seek to Destroy Cancer, and we were involved with that. And more than just me, we just had Tommy Danger on as they got their event this weekend down at Daytona. Hit up Miss Lee. That is LEE_110nation@yahoo.com. Tomorrow night, Rubbin' is Racing. Make sure you guys check that out. Do not be late. You will miss a lot if you guys are not there. Friday night, big five. I always want to say 5-0. The big 5-year anniversary. The big 5-year anniversary. So make sure you guys definitely tune in for that show. I think that's all we got for tonight. Thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I got to thank Jay Havens and Mason Mitchell once again for joining us tonight. Shorty for hanging out with the studio with us. Had a blast tonight. Looking forward to tomorrow night. You guys have a great night.
Thanks for listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show with Mr. CJ Sports. You are a part of the 110 Nation, so be sure to visit the110nation.com for everything related to the show. You can follow CJ on Twitter @110nation and on Facebook @110nation Sports. Until next time.
Hey Raleigh, paying too much for your wireless bill is not cool, which is why millions of people have switched to Sprint this past year. To celebrate, you can save 50% on most Verizon rate plans when you switch to Sprint. All this on the Sprint network, which is faster plus more reliable and has better coverage than ever. Why wouldn't you switch today? Hurry, visit a Sprint store or Sprint.com to learn more. Limited time only, offer coverage not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, surcharges, add-on, and premium content. Subject to new line port-in, activation fee, and credit. See website for eligible plans. Savings until March 31st, 2018 after pay full amount. Restrictions apply.